Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome back once again to the southern wing of the Stink Bug Works. The Wonder Woman Extreme is nearly complete. It's waiting for parts. It's waiting for a boot, and it's waiting for some stainless steel screws. And once I have those, it will be time to finish up the turn fin, seal it up, and it's maiden run time. It's packed full of miscellaneous jam foam jammed in here and there. You know, wherever there's an airspace, I've filled it with foam. I'm getting kind of close to this gear though, but I've seen the inside of transmission where the gear is only that far away from the wall, so it'll be fine. It'll be fine. This is going to be a short one today because I'm going out to do more or to complete the perk test. The perk test is generally 2 phases, one day to drill and pre-soak, and the other day to actually run the test. I talked about dirt and such. Pre-soak is you got to allow time for expansive soils like clay. The water will actually enter the soil particle and cause the soil particle to swell, but that takes time. So you got to soak it yesterday, test it today. That gives the individual soil particles time to swell up. If they're going to swell, you got to test it while they're swollen. The real reason for this discussion is right here in my hand. In my hand is a 1312 of 1850 kV. Steve made these motors to qualify for P-Spec, or what used to be limited spec hydro LSH has evolved into P-Spec. And so he used, this is essentially a 36 millimeter steel car can. And he put his guts inside this can and made a P-Spec motor. So because the laminations had to be smaller to fit inside here, it loses some efficiency, but, you know, not a whole lot. It's still going to be a good motor. Anyway, remember I had a problem with this. The rotor was actually rubbing on this lead wire coming out of the stator. Now, the stator laminations, you know, have little slots in them that you wind the wires in, and then the wires hanging out on the end, they kind of crush them in to save space. And I called Steve up yesterday and said, Steve, how do I fix this? And he enlightened me to something of which I was not aware. When we look at all these wonderful windings, here you can see inside the motor, that doesn't tell you the whole story. At least in Steve's motors, they're epoxied into place. These wires are basically painted with very thin epoxy, like, you know, like the stuff I use. And it kind of flows in there and holds everything in place. So when I'm trying to push this wire out of place, it's not working. Well, I called Steve up, and Steve said, Jet, you dummy, it's epoxied. You got to heat it up. And it's like, oh, okay. So I pulled the rotor out, popped the empty can into the toaster oven for 20 minutes at 200 degrees. And when I got it back out of the oven, I took this, you know, pair of pliers, and with this little bump here, I managed to get in there and push that little bit of wire out of the way because the epoxy had softened up enough that I could move it. Remember, I'm only talking a couple of thousandths here. So if I can move it a tenth, that's a whole lot. So I'm getting it out of the way. So I haven't tested this motor yet. I'm going to throw it in the Campbell Hydro. That's where I took it out of. I was going to run this the other day, and I told her the problem. I fired up the radio, and it would go, that was cool, so that's not what you want your motor to do. You don't want your motor to be a Beavis. So anyway, we're going to repower the LSH, and we might remaiden the LSH, the Campbell Hydro, the same time this puppy gets a maiden. So that'll be the 3 boats that go out. The Swifter 26 with the revised ride attitude, this thing, and the Campbell Hydro. So stuff to put away. There you go, boys and girls. Short and sweet. I got to run out and do perk tests. I'll probably see you tomorrow. Oh, no. Tomorrow I have to go do a site inspection in Chula Vista. Might be Friday. Until then, boys and girls, jet out.